Hey, I'm still good meat. I'm perfectly good zombie takeout. I taste fine.
Hello and welcome to episode 558 of Zombie Takeout, the B Movie and Cult
Zombie
Movie Show.
takeout.
I'm John,
Hello, I'm Scotto.
and before we get to this week's movie, just a quick little discussion about something we should have talked about last time, even though it would have been more fitting for the TV show, but who knows when we're doing that again. The animated Firefly reboot that was announced in March while we were off. For those who haven't heard, Nathan Fillion and the rest of the surviving main cast of Firefly have gotten together and basically secured almost everything they need for an animated reboot of the show. They've got a showrunners, they've got a script, they've got an animation house, they've got Joss Whedon's blessings.
They're just missing a Ron
Yeah,
Glass.
they've got the rights. Obviously, Ron Glass, Shepherd Book is no longer with us. Um, they're looking for a distributor. It's currently on Hulu, so I'm guessing whoever owns Hulu. I don't know if it's Disney or for a long time it was Fox. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Disney owns Fox. That
I think
makes
it's Disney because
Disney might own Fox, which
Disney.
would explain why the X Men is on there, the animated series.
I don't think
Um,
know if Disney owns Fox, but I mean
mm,
Disney. It's usually a bundle with
yeah,
ESPN
yeah,
and Hulu,
right,
and Disney owns ESPN,
mm,
so I'm assuming they own Hulu too.
right. So it's probably
Used to
Disney
be
who owns it.
NBC that owned Hulu, I
Uh,
think, but I think that changed.
that's when they started the charge for it because I remember when Hulu was free. Um,
Mm.
but I suspect it's going to end up on Hulu or Disney Plus. I kind of suspect that they already have a distributor and they're just trying to build hype with all of this because it's weird that they have everything else in place but haven't found a distributor yet.
I mean, Disney Plus is going to be desperate for content because
Yeah.
I think after Ahsoka,
Hmm.
I don't think there's a single Star Wars series. It's
Hmm.
all movies after
Yeah.
Ahsoka. That I don't think they're doing a single show, unless that rumor is true about the Acolyte season two.
Right. I mean, they probably still have a ton of Marvel content. I've kind of lost track of the MCU. Um, but yeah,
Right.
it wouldn't surprise me if they picked it up. And then of course there's the Ron Glass of it all. He passed away in I want to say 2010. And there has been talk of whether or not they should recast him. A lot of people, out of respect, are saying that they should set it after Shepherd Book left the Serenity, kind of retiring his jersey. I disagree. Shepherd Book was my favorite character. I want him on the show. I mean, I get that perspective, but he was an actor. He was a brilliant actor, and by all accounts, a great guy. But it was just one role in his long, amazing career. Doesn't make sense to give it that kind of reverence.
I watched a lot of Barney Miller while visiting the parents last
Uh,
month, and man, I mean, they were all really good,
mm,
amazing
yeah,
in there, and just weird how, despite it being made in that time, how much it holds up.
nice, nice. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit it. One of the best theme songs of all time.
It's kind of the prequel to Night Court, really.
Yeah, yeah, in a lot of ways. Um,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to wait and see if who's gonna distribute it. I think we'll probably get an announcement on that sooner than later. I would love for them to finally announce whether or not they're replacing or recasting Shepherd Book. I've got a few people in mind. I would love to see Carrie Payton get the role. I saw someone suggest on Thread suggest Phil Lamar, who I think would be great as well.
Always solid. Yeah.
But that all remains to be seen. I'm just looking forward to it. Although I am a little concerned it will taint the legacy, because the beautiful thing about Firefly is that they only got half a season. There are 14 gems. It didn't
Right.
last long enough to go off the rails and get bad. And Joss Whedon's typically known for 3 good seasons before he runs out of steam.
And that's the thing. I mean, there's so much expectation to live up to,
Hmm.
you know? And fandom is so toxic these days and never pleased with anything unless, a good 15, 20 years pass by
Right.
and then they can finally look back and think, maybe we were a little,
Hmm.
maybe we didn't give it enough due,
Right. Right. Anyway, On to this week's movie, which is from 2025, Mickey 17. Of course, that brings us to the impromptu plot summary. And if you heard those air quotes, I may have made a little mistake and not recorded the last time we tried to do this. So it's not exactly impromptu. Of
This
course, mm,
has been the most rehearsed show we've done in a long
yeah,
time,
yeah,
actually. Well, at least up to the impromptu plot
right,
summary. I think we were just about
yeah,
to the end of that when
right.
I thought there was a spider in your studio or something.
I kind of yelled something when I saw that the meter wasn't moving. Anyway, the impromptu plot summary. Sponsored by donating your body to science. You might want to wait until after you're done using it.
And also brought to you by Niflheim. Come for the rocks, stay for the slugs. All right, so we have a young man and his friend who well, they get in some trouble with a loan shark, a very sadistic loan shark. And our hero he never reads the fine print or never looks into the danger of things or taking a loan from a guy who enjoys dismembering people with a chainsaw and
Mhm.
such, and keeping them as conscious as possible while doing it.
Now that you mentioned the chainsaw, that was a nice callback that I kind of missed with Nasha and the
Oh
chainsaw.
yeah.
Um, anyway,
So they they uh they get a loan to have a macaron store, and I don't understand. I mean, plenty of macaron shops last, but
mhm.
maybe they weren't making very good ones, and
I'm
I
allergic to
guess
nuts. I have
they
no
usually
comment.
sell other things. Usually they sell other things at macaron shops, so I mean, there's only
Hmm.
so much you can do there.
Right.
But it goes under, and they owe money, but they can't pay it back. So they sign up for a deep space expedition. His friend winds up getting a nice cushy pilot deal. However, our hero signs up without reading that he's going to be an expendable. And what that entails is that he gets his bio data downloaded into the system, and they send him, well, as soon as he dies, they just print another one up with his memories and his bio data, and he gets to live again.
And he's given the jobs that nobody else can do without dying and made into a human lab rat and all sorts of cute things
Right.
throughout the movie.
It isn't so much the dangerous jobs. It is the lab rat stuff
Mm.
where, they just see what happens with the radiation on them. They see well, when they get to the planet that they're traveling towards 4 years later, they send him down there to get the viruses that are on the planet and work on about 4 or 5 different lives
Mm-hmm.
to just see if they can get a vaccine so they can all live down there. Now, well, the one quirk is that each Mickey has well, there's a slight difference between them. Like
Mm.
it isn't exact science
Right.
how they print him out.
Right.
Like they show some scenes where hoses get knocked loose in the middle of the process.
And it could be a simple matter of protein folding. You know, things happen as the brain is developing and things turn out
Right.
differently.
So Mickey 17 is well, he's even worse than the original, really, you know? And he blames himself for a lot of this, for what has happened to him, because they remember a lot of the really bad things that have happened to them. And he believes it's punishment for some bad things he did as a kid. Now, the next one, Mickey 18, well, he's pissed.
Most of the Mickeys who have lived long enough were kind of sad sacks and kind of depressive. 17
Yes,
took the other way and is just pissed off at the world.
18.
Sorry,
18
18 was the one is just pissed off at the world, yeah.
18's ready to, put a cap in
Mm-hmm.
people's asses,
Yeah.
literally,
I don't
and
know which one I
justifiably
like more.
so. Well, you understand 18, like
Mm-hmm.
he's
Yeah.
he's aware of everything that's been done to him, and this asshole on the
Mm.
is just, you know, making people's
Yeah.
lives shitty,
I
just for the hell of it.
I relate to 17's emo-ness
Mm.
and 18's anger, but they both just take it a little too far.
So what happens, 17 to 17, he's
Hmm.
on a mission. He's down on the surface and he falls into a crevasse of ice. And his dear friend decides, he's not really worth risking, to go down into it for. And, they'll just print out another one, So his friend just leaves him to die. Oh, there's even aliens down in this crevasse.
Hmm.
And wow, they're surely gonna just tear him apart and eat him. Sorry, I'll see your next one
Hmm.
back at the ship and leaves him to die.
Grabs his
Or
flamethrower
so
on
he
the way out.
thought. Yeah, he even grabs his flamethrower on the way out. He could have used to defend himself,
Hmm.
maybe, against these aliens. He could have, you know, but I guess there was things are rare, so they were happy to keep the weapon intact there.
In hindsight, it's better
Then you
that he
find out
didn't.
later he's on the black market. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, in hindsight, because the biggest irony of the film is that these aliens, these little slugs that just speak in grunts, squeaks, and shrieks, that they call creepers, um, they not only do not they not eat him, they are the first people we see that actually care for Mickey and save his life and carry him back up to the surface to send him on his way. So much so that he doesn't even recognize an act of
No.
kindness because it's like he's never experienced
Hmm.
it before.
Yeah, he assumes that he's not tasty enough and is kind of offended by it.
Right, and his girlfriend tells him what happened pretty much after he recounts his story to her. That's the only way he figures out that these aliens were kind to him
Mhm.
because he hadn't really
Yeah.
experienced an act of kindness before. The problem, of course, is that they printed out Mickey 18 while they thought he was dead. And there is a law that they actually observe because they really don't observe that many laws on this
Hmm.
thing. I mean, and that they can't have multiples of people, or else I guess it's some sort of immoral
Uh-huh.
thing. I don't, who knows? They would have just had
Well,
more crew on the ship and could have helped if they had multiples.
there's a good story in the movie that's used as a way to explain the multiple law. There was
Yeah,
a scientist who was also a serial killer, and as they're chasing him down and confronting him, they realize he was a multiple. One was the scientist, one was the serial killer, and there was actually a third who got away. So that led to the law against multiples.
I mean, you don't even know if they're all serial killers or not.
Right,
They
true,
all
true.
killed somebody. So they are well, they have to relate to these creatures. They wind up capturing one. They want to just use them as a resource, but of course, it's obvious that this is an intelligent, sentient, species, and that they're going to be really pissed if they kill one of their kids. And so they have to. Well, we didn't really talk about the asshole who is in charge of this.
Mhm. Oh
Uh,
yeah,
uh, Played by Mark Ruffalo.
yeah.
Uh,
Um, Commander Marshall, who is by all accounts a politician of sorts, although they don't really establish that. He's very much an obvious Trump analog.
he's a failed politician.
Oh, okay.
He lost his elections, and so his next thing was to go in this religious
Ah,
crusade,
mm,
and that's what this whole expedition was
right,
of
right.
a pure
Okay.
planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, I was kind of getting nervous as to where they were going
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that because it was like, oh,
They
there's
don't
some
spell it out,
minorities here. Are
fortunately.
they gonna? Right, right. You never get to that chance because they have to deal with the aliens, and hilarity ensues.
Opening with Mickey's death was an interesting choice. It was kind of like, I bet you're wondering how we got here.
Yeah, Jason Lee would have been an interesting casting
Yeah,
choice
yeah.
for this. I suppose you're wondering how I got here.
And I keep wanting to call Timo the friend of Mickey who leaves him in the crevasse. I keep wanting to call he's Timo. I keep wanting to say Timu. So if I, like the
Oh,
website, so if I call him Timu, that's why. Um, that beginning where he leaves him in the crevasse makes him seem evil, and he kind of is, but also in the logic of the film, it makes sense because he's expendable.
well, they don't give you the detail that it's actually his friend
Right. True. It's
until
just some guy.
afterwards. You're like,
Right.
Jesus, what an asshole. And then you're
Yeah.
like, wait, that's his friend too? That
Mhm.
did this. Yeah, that's kind of what they do. It's but it's even worse.
This is based on the book Mickey 7 and its sequel, Animator Blues, by Edward Ashton. I have listened to both audiobooks well before I saw the movie, like 3 years ago. So it was interesting seeing it a second time because I was very nitpicky the first time.
Oh yeah.
Because there are significant differences between the two. The basic shape of the plot is roughly the same,
Okay.
but like Marshall is not in the book.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't see this without Marshall.
it was really just a military installation.
Yeah.
The war with the creepers was still a thing. The assumption that the creepers were savage and we're gonna kill them was still there. Like I said, basic shape. Um, One of my two complaints about the film, and I only have two, and they're kind of nitpicky. One of them's kind of nitpicky. This one is kind of nitpicky. Um, Throughout the film, a lot of people ask him what it feels like to die. Now, as someone who is visibly disabled, I deeply relate to that. Nobody's asked me what it's like to die, but they've asked me other annoying questions that are kind of in the wheelhouse. So I feel for Mickey in that way. But the version of Mickey that knew what it felt like to die was never uploaded.
Huh. No, well, that's right. They couldn't. They could only they would only download the memories or upload the
Before, yeah,
memories.
before a mission,
Yeah.
that memory of death never got saved. So it's an understandable question, but Mickey shouldn't know what it feels like to die because he doesn't retain that memory. And yet he says a couple of times in the movie that he does know what it feels like. He talks about it. He
Hmm.
shouldn't know that. Again, that's nitpicky. There's one change from the book that I really appreciate. In the book, the creepers are described as being spider-like.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, I'm morbidly arachnophobic. Um, you describe them as slugs. I would say they look more like caterpillars,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
kind of a cross between caterpillars and pill bugs, with like
Yeah.
worm,
Pillbug's a good one.
with like worm-like mouths. Um,
Yeah.
I will say Pattinson did a great job as Mickey. Robert Pattinson.
You know, I knew Pattinson had something to him when I
Mhm.
saw The Lighthouse and he was able to
Yeah,
go toe to toe with Willem Dafoe. That was like the first time I was like, wow, this kid's actually got something. But I thought this was genius. I mean, maybe not so much the early Mickeys,
mhm.
but his turn as Mickey 18, damn.
The early Mickeys were just kind of comedic, really comic.
Right.
One joke and it's out. Like when he falls out of the printer, that had to hurt if it was actually a stunt double.
Right.
But Pattinson and Kristen Stewart, I'll say, got very very lucky after, or made some very good choices after Twilight,
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
because that movie could have ruined them,
Of
and
course.
they've both turned out to be great actors. But you get known for this teenage movie. I mean, it ruined Taylor Lautner's career.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
the other love interest. He's who knows what he's done. These two have really made something for themselves, particularly Pattinson. Um, I love the accent he's doing. Particularly because I get nitpicky about Brits and American accents because most tend to go very Midwestern.
it is funny watching PBS shows or BBC shows when they have like a supposed American
Hmm.
and it's like they couldn't have really found an American just
Right.
living over there that they could have casted for this. No, it's some guy trying to,
And
it's
It's only been in over the last decade or so that I've really developed that ear for it. And I have so much sympathy for Brett to complain about Americans doing bad Cockney accents now.
I mean, there's some good,
Yeah,
Brits that have done American
right.
accents, of course. I
And
mean,
Pattinson in this movie is one of them. Loved the radiation checklist gag.
oh,
He's in an exposure suit outside of the ship on the way to Niflheim, and he's just kind of suspended there, and they're asking him if he's exhibiting all of these symptoms of radiation poisoning, burning skin and all of this, and he's just kind of accepting it, which
yeah,
is the
they're
fascinating
just
thing.
torturing them.
Yeah, and he just takes it, and that's I think all of the Mickeys up until 18, they just passively took everything, and perhaps that's what happened with 18. Maybe I don't want to be stereotypical, but maybe a little more testosterone was released, and he remembers being used all of these times, and what he's had to go through, and he's finally done with it.
Because who knows if they uploaded things from when he was being tortured with
Right.
the viruses and
Well,
stuff.
if he survived it, they definitely uploaded it.
Right. Like he lived long enough because they were experimenting and they
Mm-hmm.
would maybe would upload some things
Right.
and yeah,
I thought it was a nice touch to establish that the Mickeys would be printed from the station's refuse.
of course. I mean, usually they're putting his body into it too, just to have it regenerated. But
Mhm.
it's like what they did in Star Trek
Yeah.
Discovery, where
Right.
they it's the shit.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's a known thing in a lot of science fiction. It's kind of under the radar that waste is reclaimed for food and water. But they made it very clear in that Trek episode, now in this they're printing a person from it.
3D printing.
Mhm. I will say I was not crazy about Ruffalo doing such an overt Trump impression. Made every scene with him difficult to get through for me.
I mean, too smooth to be Trump,
Well, yeah,
you know?
but there were so many, particularly in the way he spoke, there were so many nods to him that it was clear what they were doing.
Although there was the whole like, oh, what am I doing kind of thing.
Mhm.
And having to be coached through some of the stuff.
Yeah,
I was surprised that his people weren't just setting him up to get him killed.
right.
The way they were like, yeah, you're gonna go out there and talk to them, and then, we're gonna do this crazy thing. Uh, that I'm like, wait, do they really believe in their own bullshit? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That was the plan.
yeah.
They didn't realize the abilities the creatures had
Hmm.
until they got out there.
Right. I loved the line, from Mickey, a tight knit, harmonious community as a brawl is breaking out in the mess tent. Or mess hall, not mess tent. Too many mashup episodes. And right after that scene, we get our first look at a minor character who I have to give a shout out to. Because the actor, well, first of all, he did a brilliant job in the film, but also the actor is indirectly responsible for me finding out about the books. The prison guard.
You told me to look for them,
Mhm.
but they got locked up so many times. It was like, wait a minute.
Well, he was in both scenes where they got locked up.
Oh, okay.
The first time you see him, he's just sweeping. But he's looking down the broom like he's sighting a pool cue. Tom Court's the actor. His partner is Beth Roars, who I've talked about on The Hearing a few times. She's a vocal coach who runs a YouTube channel where she reacts to various singers. I'm a big fan and been a patron supporter for a while. So I knew Tom was going to be in this movie. She posted about the book that she was reading the book in 2002. I'm guessing Tom had just been cast. And that's how I became aware of it. And it looked interesting, so I read it after that and loved it. And that's how I found out about the movie. What I loved about Tom's performance is he's just committed to the bit. He's sort of the character is sort of the way I described him was a cross between Gollum and Ed Grimley.
Okay.
He's just hunched over and anxious the whole time, and kind of has this these bulged eyes, and he commits to that the entire time, even though he could have made it much easier and just played it straight. The character didn't need to have like an established personality, but he chose to do that, or it was the director. I don't know, but I just love how he committed to this anxiousness in the character. I just found it hilarious. Granted, I noticed it because I was keeping an eye out, and I know what he looks like, so was able to catch it when I first saw him.
Well, the attention to detail on
Yeah.
this, just to build the world like that and just to have there were so many different people that were
Uh
in
huh.
smaller parts
Yeah.
that really shaped this.
Mm-hmm. Another character in a slightly larger role, I realized, was Dorothy, the woman from the med team who kind of befriends Mickey.
Yeah, there's a few people that show an interest in Mickey, and I mean, she shows a scientific interest
Mm-hmm.
in him, of course. But there was, I guess men were scarce, on the
Yeah.
ship, or at least ones that might be nice to you.
Right. But back to what I was saying about the creepers. Obviously, I'm glad they changed them from being spiders, but they're also just kind of adorable,
Yeah.
which is a weird choice for the alien menace in a science fiction movie. Um, Although useful when they turn out to be good. Yeah, and I love that these supposedly bloodthirsty creepers, because we don't, as far as we know at this point, they are what they're claiming them to be, and then they end up saving him. Love that he's arguing that his meat tastes fine. Um, the Dinner of Your Dreams contest with Marshall, very much a Douglas Adams thing.
Yeah. And just rough because it's not going to end well.
Right.
You kind of assume it's just going to get even worse, that it was going to, be the end of uh, 17 there.
Mhm.
And I love how 18 was just like, you know, would they at least give you something decent? Like you weren't sure if he knew that he got this, like dinner of honor thing, but he did, and was just kind of like, do you at least get something good out of it?
Mhm. And at the dinner, was he eating raw liver?
Yeah, it was some sort of raw meat that he was just, of course, chowing down on because he
Mhm.
had hardly had any protein. And as I'm watching, I'm going, well, you know what happens if you have too much protein and you're
Uh-huh.
not really comfortable with it, and
Uh-huh.
and
As
it
a
is very
longtime
similar
vegetarian, I'm very
to
well aware
that.
of that.
So I was kind of surprised that they actually, used realism there.
Hmm.
Because I was thinking, are they just gonna have him like, oh boy, I'm stuffed kind of thing, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be it? No, they went all the way with it.
I couldn't figure out why Kai was throwing herself at 17.
Yeah, that I don't know if they really explained that,
Yeah,
or did
because
you?
her girlfriend is killed earlier in the film, and Mickey gets in some trouble
Yeah,
because it should have been him.
yeah.
And then randomly, it was actually just after Mickey 17 came back from being saved by the creepers, she starts throwing herself at him for no apparent reason. And she hates Nasha for the rest of the film because Nasha is with him, even when Kai has a new girlfriend at the end.
Now, just for the record, though, her girlfriend
Mhm.
got herself
Well,
killed.
yeah,
She fired her machine gun
right.
into the ice.
Uh-huh.
That came down on her.
Uh-huh.
That had nothing to do with
Right.
Mickey.
No, no, but his job was to die, so he got in trouble
Right.
for it.
She was an idiot.
Yeah. I love Nasha's reaction to there being two Mickeys because she's immediately thinking threesome.
Yes. Yeah, not Nasha. Like they give her a little bit, but it's
Mhm.
still, it's still girlfriend,
Yeah,
thing mostly. I
right.
mean, they make her the leader, spoiler, towards the end.
They
They
kind
they
of
make her the boss.
they kind of nerfed her character a little bit from the book. Nasha is one of the characters who is in the book, one of the few, aside from Mickey himself. Um, she had a bit more of a spine and was a bit more interesting and had a bit more of a personality in the book.
I think they hint at that here, but they
Mhm.
don't show it enough.
Right,
You
right.
know, you kind of see, like, her wanting the threesome. It's her reaction to, there's two of you now. Awesome.
That part is from the book.
Yeah.
As is their numbered positions.
Right.
I'm surprised one of your suggested titles was not Deus Ex Kama Sutra. Um,
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
it just hit me right now. Um, Love the dramatic classical music when 18 comes in to shoot Marshall. And then it immediately switches to cartoon music when the creeper pops out of the rock.
I was gonna say there are some great musical cues, and that whole polka
Mm-hmm.
cartoon music
Yeah.
thing is just brilliant.
And we have a Wilhelm when the door closes on the guy in the bird costume.
They even put a Wilhelm in here. Wow.
And of course, you had to know killing one creeper and capturing another was going to start shit.
Yeah, there's so many movies where, you know, I think like the Orca movies kind of went that way too, where they captured a baby and then, they fucked up.
And as if we didn't hate Timu enough from the beginning of the film, Darius Black, the sadistic loan shark, finds them on Niflheim and sends a letter that threatens their lives if he doesn't get a video of one of them dying. And so while they're locked up, he has the prison guard setting up a camera behind him and he's going to film Mickey's death.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they could have gotten away with it if they just were going to reprint another one. Huh?
Well, that was his argument is like, you're just get reprinted. It's no big deal. Um,
Yeah,
well, actually, 18 was there. So 18 would have gone along, would have stayed alive and they would have killed
yeah.
Mickey, killed 17 and solved the problem. Um, I loved in that moment when Tom Court went from that hunched and kind of anxious demeanor to, and he said, shoot him, just into this perfect military pose on a dime to fire the gun. Also, love the med team posing for that photo while 17 was getting gassed.
The med team was great.
Yeah.
Just the sir, that the publicist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just and of course the first lady there.
Yeah. I
What,
Tony Collette's the actress.
Tony Collette. Yeah.
Yeah, Elfa is the character's name. I didn't have much of an opinion about her until she cuts the tail off of a live juvenile creeper to make a sauce.
Everything is about making sauces.
Uh-huh.
Just obsessed with making sauces, and just you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
wondering what is it that they're gonna start. Is it gonna be cannibalism
Right.
here at the end?
At that moment, I wanted her, Marshall, and Timo to die. I got two of them. And as annoyed as I was about the blatant Trump impression, it was very cathartic to hear Nasha going off on him.
Right. Yeah, Nasha has, I mean, that's some of her best scenes with
Mm-hmm.
the where she's holding the baby
Oh,
up with
yeah.
her teeth, and then she has to then finally just like, you're a fucking idiot.
Also liked Arkady, one of the med team, pointing out, the head of the med team, pointing out that 17's gesturing when he was trying to get their attention about bringing out the juvenile creeper wasn't sign language. Because Marshall's asking, what is he saying? Arkady's like, it's not sign language. I don't know. Using one of their sex positions to tell Nasha, I keep wanting to say Yasha because of Mighty Nine, to tell Nasha to bring out the baby effectively was brilliant. That is also in the book.
Bring out the baby.
And then loved Nasha getting Alpha in a headlock while she's still holding the chain in her teeth to save the baby. Great stunt work there. I would have liked a longer look at 18 beating the shit out of Marshall, but we did see the important parts.
Yeah, I guess it had to happen,
Mm-hmm.
like they couldn't all survive
Oh
it.
no. Um, I'm trying to remember how the book ends. Do they? I don't remember if they kill off one of the Mickeys. Probably 18, probably 8 in the book. I think they might kill him off. I don't remember. And I will say the Timo, I did it again. The Timo in the book, not named Timo. The director, Bong Joon-ho, renamed several characters after footballers
Oh yeah.
that he's a fan of. In fact, he went to 17 and from 7, not just to add 10 to make it futuristic or whatever, but because one of his favorite footballers is number 17.
Hmm.
But the version of Timo in the book, whose name escapes me, is kind of a dick, but not anywhere near Timo's level.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is I mean, a real piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many of them there that are real pieces of shit. And I
Yeah,
think that's kind of the point, you know, regard for human
yeah.
life is just not there.
I didn't like that he lived. I didn't appreciate the head fake that Alpha, Marshall's partner, might have lived.
Oh, but I don't think she really
No,
did.
no, it was a dream. Uh,
Yeah.
it was just too much of a head fake.
And it was just, you know, the whole thing. Should I really blow up this printer?
Mhm.
And of course, yeah, because who knows what people could do with
Yeah.
that printer, you know?
It ends with an announcement that they've uh, criminalized human printing on Niflheim, and Mickey blows up the printer, the one printer. No room for sequels or remakes because it has a very definitive ending.
Yeah.
On to brains.
On a brains.
I really like it. I have issues with the Trump impersonation, and Mickey saying he knows what it's like to die just doesn't make sense. Got to take off a half a brain for that. I'm going 4.5.
I think the question everybody asking him about what it feels like to die is a stupid question because they're very stupid people. Uh, and I feel like his Trump, it wasn't really a Trump impersonation. It was just kind of in that mindset. And I mean, he goes full on Mussolini towards the end, you
Yeah.
know, too, which I mean, I'm trying to think what year this was. Like, this is really before we're where we are now.
It was released last year,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
probably
So they,
filmed in 23, 24.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's an easy five. I mean, I really felt for Mickey the whole
Mm-hmm.
time and was for the rare occasion of really hoping for a happy ending to this. Like they're gonna take it away, aren't they? Kind of thing. Just worried the whole way towards the end. So yeah, and Pat and puts on
Oh yeah,
just a master
yeah.
class.
So what have you learned?
We learned. Did we just watch the sequel to Weird Science?
And I learned to stand tall in my failures. And that's it for Mickey 17. Until next time, when we'll be reviewing Space Battleship Yamato, not the anime, a live action Japanese version of the anime, a film based on it. And it's dubbed, which I feel like will be more fitting than a subbed version. At least for
Okay.
Americans who grew up on Star Blazers, and it's notoriously bad
Yeah.
dub. Anyway, until then, of course, always remember, never forget, wherever you go in life,
There
there you
you
are.
are.